I'm David,
I'm Cheryl.
and I was telling Cheryl that if you take the idea of a cow, and the cow is being fed grass, and the cow looks out on the farm and sees all this grass, and the farmer comes over the cow and is petting it and milking it and taking care of it, and then one day it's being slaughtered. So it had all this comfort. It never questioned its comfort. It never looked at what was happening. It was just happy to be fed. It was happy to have a home. It was happy to be safe. But behind the scenes, something else was going on, right?
Yeah. I think we talked a couple weeks ago about just everyone being so blanketly fearful. And I just want to bring up again, well, I think I don't know if I said before, fearful people are easier to rule. And if you just pause for a minute and really look at the situation, right, and like don't be the cow. There's been many other viruses in the past, like tuberculosis 2018, SARS, Ebola. I know my daughter had H1N1 when she was a baby, and all of those were viruses, and none of them resulted in this mask wearing, quarantine, global economic shutdown, and they were all just as contagious.
Absolutely.
And so does anyone want to stop? Well, I guess what we're trying to say is I think everyone should pause and not just go with what the media is feeding them, what the farmer is feeding the cow, and think about then why now? Like what else is going on that this time around, this virus, not tuberculosis, not SARS, not Ebola, like why now are they shutting down the economy, quarantine, instilling fear in us, to wear the masks? Like, what is underneath here? Like, what else is going on?
Yes. And with that, I think it's important because one of the biggest things that people keep bringing up is shaming and humiliating and putting down people that have alternate kind of realities, I guess, when it comes to like conspiracy theories. And then you have the news. And I remember having a professor in college, and he was very much about being a critical thinker, about using your own mind. And for example, if I'm watching the news and the news keeps bombarding me with the same thing over and over, I have to ask myself, why are they doing this? I need to research this. Maybe I should look at other avenues and see what they're saying about it. My point being is that whether it's the news or whether it's what we call quote-unquote conspiracy theories or anything else, each one has a little bit of truth, but it's up to us to use our critical mind to research and understand all this information that is being thrown at us. So rather than just accept everything as fact, right, like the cow accepts the grass and the farm and the farmer as a fact, because it's comfortable, so it doesn't have to think about anything. It doesn't have to question anything. It just goes, oh, I'm safe, until the last minute it's not. I think it's very important that we also look at that, and I brought up to Cheryl, how come it's important for athletes to look at what's put in their bodies, but the moment that we start to question what's put in our body, we're humiliated and shamed and looked at in a different way. I think that needs to be looked at as well.
Yeah. And I think also, like, we don't care what political party you are, what religious affiliation you are. As a human, as David said, pause for one moment and sit with your gut and be like, do you think this is right? Or there might be something else going on here? And just don't take what they're feeding you. And again, yes, there's so many schools of thoughts on all other sides. And we're just encouraging you all to be critical thinkers during this time and be like, does this sit well with me? Is this right? Like, and there's hundreds of topics we could be, covering right now, from like the vaccines to the fear to, money and power to the election to China's, and possibly invading us, or, there's so many different things that if you're just sitting at home in fear, going with whatever the media, mainstream media is telling you, to stop and really think.
Thinking. I think that's the most important thing that we're saying. Just, we need to stop as individuals and stop thinking that people are working for our better good all the time, right? I think we know in our own bodies that something doesn't feel right. We don't know what it is, and that's okay. Follow what doesn't feel right. It's like when you're in a relationship or a friendship or at a company or or your job, and something doesn't feel right. You just don't know what it is, and you investigate it, and then you go, oh, right. That person is sleeping with somebody else, or the job is going to fire me, or we all have an inkling that something isn't right. When it's truthful, we're all completely at peace. But if we have to fight it, if we have to engage in it, if we have to keep repeating the same thing, something's not right.
And I've definitely read so much right now. I'm completely confused. I'm the first to say I'm completely confused, but I'm still questioning, or as David say, I'm like, gosh, that doesn't sit, right with me. So I definitely don't have the answers. All I know is it doesn't sit right with me. And if you really sort of look at everything that's going on, it doesn't add up. It's not right.